Good morning, everyone. Before we start, may we all stand for the prayer. Under the sun. Loving and gracious Heavenly Father, we acknowledge your holy presence today. We thank you for you are infinite source of peace, love, and wisdom. We know that your Holy Spirit guides and directs us. Your love enfolds us and your light illuminates us. Give us always the strength to do, patience to bear, and let our courage never fail. All of these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Once again, good morning and welcome to the Procurement Conference for Civil Works Project. May I introduce now the members of the BAC headed by our BAC Chairman, Engineer Arturo Preposi, Engineer Wheeler Pince, and Engineer Floreline Fernandez. For the Technical Working Group, Engineer Jercel Froilan Remando and Engineer John Michael Hidalgo. For the BAC Secretariat, yours truly, Maria Pisa J. Marquez. And to assist us from IT, Von Cyril Kawet, and from Procurement Unit, Joylan Nubia Stasio and Leslie Blaze. Sir, majority of the BAC members are present. There's a call.
Thank you, Ma'am Christian. Sa forum, the President Conference for Civil Works is now called for. Let us acknowledge also if there is an attendee by Zoom, our IT. Let's acknowledge
We have our observer, Sir, via Zoom from NACAP, Sir Jose Leido III.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning to everyone.
good morning, sir, and welcome to the President Conference for Civil Works. Secretariat, you can now proceed the presentation or to present the details, the technical and financial requirements to be submitted.
So this Procurement Conference for contract IDs 25A00563, 26A00097, 26A00126, and 26A00171. The Procurement Conference shall be held at least 12 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids, but not earlier than 7 calendar days from the field's posting of the invitation to bid or bidding documents. The Procurement Conference shall discuss, clarify, and explain, among other things, the eligibility requirements and the technical and financial components of the procurement project, including questions and clarifications raised by the prospective bidders before and during the Procurement Conference. Requests for clarifications on any part of the bidding documents or for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted to the back of the procuring entity concerned at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. The BAC shall respond to the said request by issuing a bid bulletin duly signed by the BAC chairperson to be made available to all those who have properly secured the bidding documents at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. For purpose of clarifying or modifying any provision of the bidding documents, bid bulletins may be issued upon the procuring entity's initiative at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. Any modification to the bidding document shall be identified as an amendment. Any bid bulletin issued by the BAC shall also be posted in the flyers in any conspicuous place in the premises of the procuring entity and on the website or social media platforms of the procuring entity if available, or such other channels as may be authorized by the GPPB. It shall be the responsibility of all those who have properly secured the bidding documents to inquire and secure bid bulletins that may be issued by the BAC. However, bidders who have submitted bids before the issuance of the bid bulletin must be informed and allowed to modify or withdraw their bids in accordance with Section 55 of this IRR. For 25A00563, construction or improvement of access road leading to trades, industries, and economic growth. Roads leveraging links for industry and trade infrastructure program. Poblacion-Puguil-Tubaday Road, connecting Balaoan-Santol Road in support to soft broom industry and other high-value agricultural products, Santol, La Union. Funding source, GAA 2025, with an ABC of 23,377,421 pesos and 58 centavos. Scope of works, clearing and grabbing works, roadway excavation, construction of stone masonry, with a contract duration of 97 calendar days. Warranty, semi-permanent structures, 5 years. 26A00097, construction or improvement of access roads leading to declared tourism destinations, tourism road infrastructure program, Vigan Boardwalk Road leading to Heritage Village, Station 0+973 to Station 1+192.2, Station 1+292.26 to Station 1+747.26, Vigan City, Ilocos Sur. Funding source, GAA 2026, ABC 4,197,750 pesos. Scope of works, construction of PCCP 280 mm thick, 3.35 meters carriageway, 1 lane, spreading and compaction of aggregate stub-based force. Contract duration 36 calendar days. Warranty, semi-permanent structures, 5 years. 26A00126, sustainable infrastructure projects, alleviating gaps, improvement of Zamora Extension Road, Station 0+000 to Station 0+433.23, Dagupan City, Pangasinan. Funding source, GAA 2026, ABC, 27,986,930 pesos. Scope of works, removal of existing PCCP, thickness 150 millimeters, roadway excavation, subgrade preparation, spreading and compaction of embankment, spreading and compaction of aggregate sub-base course, construction of PCCP, 2 lanes with thickness 280 millimeters, structure excavation, construction of drainage, installation of metal frame and grating. Contract duration, 159 calendar days. Warranty, semi-permanent structure, 5 years. 26A00171, construction of missing links or new roads, San Manuel, Pangasinan to Itogon Road, Barangay Kasaratan to Barangay San Roque to Barangay Sobol to Barangay Amistad Section, Station 13+725 to Station 15+780, San Nicolas, Pangasinan. Funding source, GAA 2026, ABC 47,196,220 pesos. Scope of works, clearing and grabbing works, embankment, construction of stone masonry. Contract duration, 196 calendar days. Warranty, semi-permanent structures, 5 years. For the eligibility requirements, Class A documents in case the bidder is not yet registered in DPWH. Legal documents, SEC, DTI, or CDA, mayor's permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the respective bidder is located. In case of recently expired mayor's or business permit, it shall be accepted together with the official receipt as proof that the bidder has applied for renewal within the period prescribed by the concerned local government unit, provided that the renewed permit shall be submitted as a post-qualification requirement. Tax clearance certificate as finally reviewed and approved by BIR. Technical documents, pickup or special pickup license in case of joint venture, records of completed contracts, both for government and private, records of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature, and complexity to the contract to be bid. And it shall be supported with notice of award or contract, notice to proceed issued by the owner and certificate of accomplishment signed by the owner or project engineer. Class A document in case the bidder is not registered in DPWH. Records of single largest completed contract similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules, and shall be supported with contract, SIPAG rating sheet, and or certificate of completion and certificate of acceptance. Adjusted to current price using Philippine Statistics Authority, current price index should have a contract amount equivalent to at least 50% of the ABC. A contract shall be considered similar to the contract to be bid if it has the same major categories of work. Financial documents, audited financial statement is stamped by the BIR or its duly accredited authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of submission. Tax returns filed and taxes paid through the BIR electronic filing and payment system. Computation of NFTC of at least equal to ABC computed using the prescribed formula. NFCC is equal to the current assets minus the current liabilities times 15 minus value of unfinished projects, including awarded projects not yet started, coincide with the contract to be bid. Per GPPB Resolution number 18 to 2017, in lieu of the Class A eligibility documents which were uploaded and maintained current and updated in PhilGEPs, bidders are required to submit their PhilGEP certificate of registration, platinum membership, during bid submission in the case infrastructure projects pursuant to Section 20 of RA 12009 and its IRR. For purpose of determining the eligibility of bidders using the criteria stated in Section 52.4 of RA 12009, the prospective bidder shall submit its valid and updated PhilGEP certificate of registration, platinum membership pursuant to the requirements provided in Section 20 of RA 12009. To ensure that the prospective bidder is technically and financially capable to undertake the procurement project, the bank shall also require the submission of the following documents using the forms prescribed in the bidding document. Statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the procurement project. The statement of the bidders SLCC, similar to the procurement project, except under conditions provided for in Section 52.4.1.3 and 52.4.2.4 of this IRR. Within the relevant period as provided in the bidding documents in the case of goods. In case the prospective bidder is a joint venture, the following documents shall be required. Valid joint venture agreement in case the joint venture is already in existence. In the absence of a JEDA, duly notarized statement from all the potential joint venture partners should be included in the bid, stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JDA in the event that the bid is successful. Failure to enter into a joint venture in the event of the contract award shall be granted for the forfeiture of the bid security. JV bidder shall submit a JVA in accordance with RA number 4566 or the contractor's license law and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit the respective certificate of registration in accordance with section 20.2.9.1 of this IRR. The submission of technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the MFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all its ongoing contracts. The following persons or entities shall be allowed to participate in the bidding or for infrastructure projects: duly licensed Filipino citizens or sole proprietorships, partners duly organized under the laws of the Philippines and of which at least 60% of the interest belongs to citizens of the Philippines, corporations duly organized under the laws of the Philippines and of which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to the citizen of the Philippines, cooperative duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, or persons or entities forming themselves in a joint venture, a group of 2 or more persons or entities that intend to be jointly and severally responsible or liable for a particular contract, provided however that in accordance with PO number 65 series of 2018, Filipino ownership or interest of the joint venture considered shall be at least 60%, provided further that joint ventures in which Filipino ownership or interest is less than 60% may be eligible where the structures to be built require the application of techniques or technologies which are not adequately possessed by a person or entity meeting the 60% Filipino ownership requirement, provided furthermore that in the latter case, Filipino ownership or interest shall not be less than 25%. For this purpose, Filipino ownership or interest shall be based on the contributions of each of the members of the joint venture as specified in their JPE. Provided finally that the primary purpose of each member of the joint venture must be similar or related to the requirement of the project to be bid out. In accordance with RA number 4566 or the Contractor's License Law, as amended by RA number 11711 or an Act, further amending Republic Act number 4566, the persons or entities enumerated in Section 52 of RA 12009 may participate in the procurement of infrastructure projects if it has been issued a license by the DPWH or act as a contractor. The bidder must have completed an SLCC that is similar to the procurement project to be bid and whose value adjacent to current prices using the PSA consumer price indices must at least 50% of the ABC to be bid, provided that any change to the 50% requirement may be allowed subject to the recommendation of the procuring entity, which shall be submitted to the GPTV for consideration. Provided further that contractors under small A and small B categories without similar experience on the procurement project to be bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost of the registration based on the guidelines as prescribed by the TCAP. Moreover, a contract shall be considered similar to the procurement project if it has the same major categories of work. The procuring entity may clarify in the bidding documents what is regarded as major categories of work guided by the principle of proportionality, and fit for purpose approach. 52.4.2.5. The SLCC shall be supported by an owner's certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory EPC best, or a similar performance and monitoring system. In the case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent document shall be submitted. 52.4.2.6. The computation of a bidder's NMTC must at least equal to the ABC to be bid, calculated as follows. NMTC is equal to the current assets minus the current liabilities times 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of the project under ongoing contracts, including awarded contracts yet to be started, coinciding with the procurement project to be bid. Provided that a different formula may be adopted subject to the recommendation of the procuring entity, which shall be submitted to the GPTB for consideration. The value of the domestic bidder's current assets and current liabilities shall be based on the latest AFS submitted to the BIR. Submission and receipt of bids. The first bid envelope shall contain the following technical documents: Field Certificate of Registration, Platinum Membership, in accordance with Section 20 of RA 12009. The statement of the respective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. A statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. Special pickup license in case of joint ventures. Original copy of bid security, if in the form of a surety bond. Submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or original copy of notarized bid security declaration. Project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' key personnel, project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen, to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. List of contractors' major equipment units, which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be. Original duly signed omnibus sworn statement in accordance with Section 52.4 of this IRR. ISO 9001-2015 certification, requirement for large and medium contractors for projects above 30 million. Latest general information sheet reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission for corporations. The prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity, and if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with RA number 4566 and its IRR, in case the joint venture is already in existence. The second bid envelope shall contain the financial documents, original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form, original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities, duly accomplished detailed estimate form including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid, and cash flow by the worker. For the form of bid security, the bid validity period and bid security validity period 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. Form of bid security and amount of bid security not less than the required percentage of the ABC. Cash or cashiers or manager's check issued by a bank for biddings conducted by LGUs. The cashiers or manager's check may be issued by other 2% bank certified by the BSP as authorized to issue such financial instrument. 2% bank draft or guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit issued by a bank. However, provided however that it shall be confirmed or authenticated by a bank if issued by a foreign bank. For biddings conducted by LGUs, bank draft or guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit may be issued by other banks certified 5% by the BSP as authorized to issue financial instrument 5%. Surety bond callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company certified 25% of the insurance commission as authorized to issue such security. 5% bid security declaration not applicable. For the major and similar categories of work, for 25A00563, the major category of work, road construction, gravel. For 26A00097, the major category of work, roads construction, PCCP. For 26A00126, the major category of work, roads construction, PCCP. For 26A00171, the major category of work, roads construction, gravel. For the bid evaluation, the ABC shall be the upper limit or ceiling for acceptable bid prices. If a bid price as evaluated and calculated in accordance with this IRR is higher than the ABC, the bidder submitting the same shall be automatically disqualified. There shall be no lower limit or floor on the amount of the award. Members of the bank, its staff and personnel, secretariat and TWG, as well as the observers, are prohibited from making or accepting any communication with any bidder regarding the evaluation of their bids until the issuance of the notice of award. However, the bank, through its secretariat, may ask the bidder in writing for clarification of its bid. All responses to requests for clarification shall be in writing. The bank shall evaluate the financial component of the bid to determine the lowest calculated bid using the following steps. The bank shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria in considering the following. Completeness of the bid, unless the instructions to bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding document, including where applicable bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. However, when no price or a zero or a dash is indicated in a required item in the bid form, the same shall be construed that it is being offered for free to the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. And arithmetical corrections, the bank shall consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modifications if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. The bank shall evaluate all bids on an equal footing to ensure fair and competitive bid comparison. For this purpose, all bidders shall be required to include the cost of all taxes, such as but not limited to value-added tax, income tax, local taxes, and other fiscal levies and duties, if applicable, which shall be itemized in the bid form and reflected in the detailed estimate. Such bid including said taxes, shall be the basis for the bid evaluation and comparison. In case of discrepancies between bid prices in figures and in words, the latter shall prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item, the latter shall prevail. Stated low total price and the total sum of prices of component items, the latter shall prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill of quantities, the latter shall prevail. And amount in price schedule and in the bid form, the latter shall prevail. Bids shall then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices, as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications to identify the lowest calculated bid. Total calculated bid prices and as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications which exceed the EPC shall be disqualified. The entire evaluation process for the procurement of goods and infrastructure projects using the lowest calculated bid as criteria shall be completed within 7 calendar days from the deadline for receipt of proposals. For post-qualification, the bidder with the lowest calculated bid shall undergo post-qualification to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents. Within 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from DPWH that the bidder has the LCP, the bidder shall submit all the eligibility documents supporting PhilJeb certificate of registration, platinum membership, its latest income and business tax returns filed for the preceding quarter, which should not be earlier than 2 quarters from the date of submission and receipt of bids, and other appropriate licenses and permits required by law and stated in the bidding documents. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award, provided that in the event that a finding against the veracity of any of the documents submitted is made, it shall cause the forfeiture of the bid security in accordance with Article 21 of the Act on Entities IRR. During post-qualification, the bank shall verify and validate the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the eligible documents supporting the PhilJeb certificate of registration, platinum membership, and all the other statements made and documents submitted by the bidder with the lowest calculated bid using non-discretionary criteria as stated in the bidding documents. These criteria shall consider but shall not be limited to the following: legal requirements to verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 54 of this IRR. For this purpose, the GPPB shall maintain a portal which contains the consolidated file of all blacklisted contractors. For the technical requirements to verify and validate the bidder's stated compliance with the requirements specified in the bidding document. Financial requirements to verify and validate the bid price proposal of the bidder and, whenever applicable, the required committed line of credit if the amount is specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding documents or the bidder's NFTC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. If the bank determines that the bidder with the lowest calculated bid passes all the criteria for post qualification, It shall be declared the sensitive as the LCRB or the HRRB. The post-qualification process shall be completed in not more than 12 calendar days from the determination of the lowest calculated bid. In exceptional cases, the post-qualification period may be extended by the hope, but in no case shall the aggregate period exceed 45 calendar days. The bank shall recommend to the hope the award of contract to the bidder with the LCRB, as the case may be, after the post-qualification process has been completed. Within a period not exceeding 10 calendar days from the determination and declaration through a resolution by the bank of the LCRB, as the case may be, and the recommendation of the award, the hope or its duly authorized representative shall approve or disapprove the said recommendation. In case of approval, the hope or its duly authorized representative shall immediately issue the notice of award to the bidder with the LCRB. In the event that the approving authority shall disapprove the resolution on the award of the contract, such disapproval shall be based only on valid, reasonable, and justifiable grounds as enumerated under Section 70 to be expressed in writing. A copy of the decision disapproving the resolution shall be furnished to the bank and the bidder. When applicable, the bank shall conduct a post-qualification of the bidder with the next LCB as provided in Section 63.7 of this IRR. A request for reconsideration may be filed to the bidder with the hope within 3 calendar days from receipt of the notice of disapproval or the explanation for the inaction. The hope shall resolve with finality the request for reconsideration with 7 calendar days from the filing thereof and furnish the bidder a copy of the resolution immediately from its promulgation. In no case shall the request for reconsideration stay or delay the bidding process. However, the request for reconsideration must first be resolved before any award is made. Within 10 calendar days from receipt by the winning bidder of the notice of award, the following condition should be complied before the contract may be awarded. Notice of award with the bidder's signed conformity, performance security in any of the forms specified in the instructions to bidders, construction methods, construction schedule in the form of precedence diagram, bar chart with S-curve and cash flow, manpower schedule, equipment utilization schedule, construction safety and health program, contractors always insurance, certification under oath stating that the contract is free and clean of all tax liabilities. Common reasons for rejections of bids, ineligibility, and post-disqualification of bidder: failure to submit original copy of the surety bond certified by the Insurance Commission indicating the name of project, the procuring entity, and name of contractor. Shorter bid validity and bid security validity period. Failure to declare all its ongoing contract and private contracts awarded but not yet started. Overlapping of pledged equipment and committed key technical personnel. Failure to indicate the validity of bid in the bid form. Late submission of bid. Failure to submit supporting documents. Proof of ownership, certification of availability of equipment from the equipment vendor for the duration of the project, if equipment pledge is to be leased or purchased. Negative slippage in the ongoing projects, negative 15% or more or negative 10% in each of 2 or more ongoing projects. Unsatisfactory SIPAG rating, not using the standard forms attached in the Philippine bidding documents, false or misleading declarations in eligibility documents. For purchasing of bidding documents, the bidders or contractor shall provide any of the following documents before purchasing bidding documents: company ID or any government issued ID, authorization letter if not an authorized liaison officer in the DPWH, special power of attorney for sole proprietorship or board or partnership or joint venture resolution with secretary's certificate of corporation, partnership, joint venture, or cooperative. Letter of intent for foreign funded projects. Common errors in the submission of bids. Authority of the signatory to sign on behalf of the bidder. Single proprietor. Signatory should be the owner or proprietor only. Corporation or cooperative. Board secretary's certificate and board resolution. Joint venture. Joint venture resolution or agreement. Partnership as indicated in the articles of partnership. DO Department Orders and Memorandum. DO9 Series of 2012. Technical requirements for civil works projects for public bidding. DO58 Series of 2012, including inclusion of material data on the pledge equipment of a bidder in his bid document. DO11 Series of 2017, inclusion of the minimum materials testing equipment in the technical component of the bid. DO169 Series of 2025, guidelines on the accreditation and assignment of contractors and consultation project engineers. Memo 97.7 111925, directive to require submission of general information sheet reflecting beneficial ownership information and sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership as part of the bidding documents. So reminder for 25A00563, 26A00097, 26A00126, and 26A00171. The deadline for submission of clarification 10 days before submission of bids. Deadline for submission of bids June 2, 2026 at 10 a.m. Number of copies of bid proposal. 2 original copies of the first and second components of each bid. Place of submission. Bids and Awards Committee, second floor conference room, DPWH Regional Office 1, City of San Fernando, Luzon. Sir, that ends the presentation.
Thank you, Prisa. Please take note on the submission of bids for June 2, 2026. And that's conclude the presentation of 4 civil works within the secretary. Presented the technical and financial requirements and other requirements to be submitted for those who are interested participating bidders. To our observer, Sir Rosilito, any comment from the pre-conference?
Mr. Chair, the pre-bid has been very informative and should be helpful to all prospective bidders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for always being there.
Thank you too.
Any more on our agenda?
Later po.
After. Oh. Yeah. Pwede na mag-umpisa. Okay, let's proceed to our activities. Hindi na ikakat yan o... Okay, for this particular activities, the pre-bid conference for several days now adjourned. Thank you, SIPAG Secretary, members, PWD, Secretariat, and I. Good morning.